I'm Michelle Vonderhaar. I am actually the staff development manager here, but if you followed me for a while, I did a lot of the technology training, public technology training before I jumped into this role. So they thought they would bring me back. And we would talk about the new catalog. How many of you have tried out our new catalog yet? Have clicked that? Like took a leap of faith and clicked the link. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at some of the things, some of the new features in the new catalog, and we are gonna talk a little bit about how you create a username in that account as well. And we'll talk about how the searching really is improved. This catalog is, I like our old catalog, but I will say that the searching is so much more improved in this catalog as well. So we're going to talk about all of those things. And please, as you are thinking of them or as we're going through different screens, please ask questions if you do have them. That would be wonderful. So here's the one thing about our new catalog. What we just realized is that we thought that it was 100% configured, and we're not quite there yet. So as we're talking about these features, we will leave the link up for all of you to try and practice and look at, and you can even stay in that catalog if you like. But we are not going to do the switch over on August 17th like we thought we were. If you noticed, we haven't made that switch over yet because today's the 19th. So we are not going to make that switch over. It is going to take a little bit more for them to get it totally configured to us. They're actually redoing the very front page so we can put some of our own content right now. It's all the bestsellers, so New York Times and all that. So we will be able to put our content on that page. So look for developments in that and watch the website. The website will be your best bet, or you can always call us, but your website will be the best bet to know when we actually make the switch over. Anything you do, though, in the catalog, so if you create your account, all of that stays. So please don't think please don't think you're doing it in a test. You're not. So if you want to go out and create your account today, you go right ahead. That will follow over when we do the switch over.
So you can't use your account?
You can, and we'll talk about that. I'll show you what you can do. All right, here, let's go ahead and let's take a look. Here we go. If you've not been there before, this is what it looks like. It's very pretty, much more modern. So we do have some features up front that we will go through. Like I said, we will be redoing this page so it has a little bit more of the content from our librarians. But you do and have some links that let you explore new materials right away. You can get to our e-materials as right away if you want to go to Libby and Hoopla if you are a digital reader. But good news, all of those digital items are in here as well, and you can check them out from here as well. So that's another thing that's going to be kind of cool. Yes? Not yet in the app. This is strictly online. It will be coming to the app though as well. That's going to be a little bit longer because that'll be once we make the switch over, okay? So one of the things about this new catalog is that you do have to register. It doesn't mean your library card isn't good anymore. It doesn't actually mean that you can't use your library card anymore when you want to see what you have checked out and what you have on hold or to place things on hold. But what they would like us to do in this new catalog is to create a username. It will use your current password or PIN, same thing. So you can change it if you want. I recommend you keeping whatever PIN you have, but you can change it to a password if you'd like. And what they're saying is that for some people, a username is easier to remember than their barcode. I've had my barcode for like 30-something years, so I can just type that in. But if you are one of those people who don't like to remember numbers, you can create a username and use the username instead. the PIN can stay the same. And everybody knows what their default PIN is for our catalog, correct?
No, I don't.
Okay, it is the last 4 digits of the phone number you gave us. So if you gave us your cell, it's that. If you gave us your home phone, it's that. The other thing is that any kind of unique username and password just protects that privacy of that account. So that's another good thing, whether it's your username or your barcode. You just want to make sure that you're using a username and a password in order to keep the privacy of your account. So we will look at this. We are going to go step by step how to create that username. And then when you are all doing your own, you can decide, do I want to use the username? Do I want to continue to use my barcode? I talked a little bit about this. I just told everybody your initial password, if you have not changed it, is the last 4 digits of the phone number that you've given us. If you have changed it, it's whatever you have changed it to. We cannot see that. But if for some reason you go to log in and you can't remember the password or what you changed the PIN to, we can default it back to the 4-digit PIN of your phone number. So even though we can't go in and say, oh yeah, this is what you changed it to, we can make it so you're starting over with your initial PIN. Any questions in the beginning before we take a look at this about your username and password? Okay, so what I'm going to do is we are going to walk through how to create that password. And just as a reminder, I hope everybody knows, we are going to close the second floor for 2 days to finish up that construction. We are so close. Really what they're going to be doing is a lot of furniture, putting all that up there. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so this is our new catalog. Before we start to talk about that PIN and username, I do want to point out a couple things that you might want to take a look at. We have this Explore link, and if you have either taken a look at the library of things that are in the lobby, and there is a kiosk there, this is another place where you have a link to look at our library of things collection. When you do go to check it out, it does bring you back so you can check out from here. The Library of Things Junior is for when you have little ones or not so little ones staying with you, if you want to get some things for them as well. This also gives you links, and we'll look at that a little later on, but it gives you links to, I can't even tell you how many award lists that there are out there. So it not only gives you the links to those awards, but it shows you what we have in our collection from those awards. And then it does link to bestsellers as well. So if you click that Explore and it opens up that menu, you have access to all of those things. The other thing that it gives you access to is the new materials. So when we click on new materials, it'll show you things that are either on order in our collection or brand new to our collection. So it's going to show you titles for those. And again, you do all know that you can put newer things either on hold, or if they're here in our Lucky Day collection, you can go grab them. Or you can put those on orders on hold as well. So when they do come in, you'll get that phone call that they are there. These links on the side let you look at the different formats. If you're looking maybe for a new ebook, picture book, audio book, you can go ahead and take a look at anything that's there. And here's that link to all those on order titles. So some really quick ways of exploring our catalog and seeing the things that might be of interest to you. I'm going to click on this catalog home, and that's going to bring us back to where we started from. And then I'm going to call everybody's attention up here to the spot that is in green that says log in and my MPPL. If you have already created your account in this new catalog, this is where you will go back to it, and this is also where we start that journey. So we are going to create our new account, or I'm going to click log in and register. And the first thing it does ask you is for your barcode from your library card and that PIN number. And then I'm going to click log in. And this is the screen that's going to come up if you have not created the account yet. So that's going to walk us through how to create our MPPL account in our new catalog. And of course, this is going to give you access to what you have checked out, your due dates, your renewals, and all of that. So I'm going to click here, account setup. Now, it will give you some information, and we are creating an account for Miss Taylor Swift. She is a library patron here, bestie of our circulation, head of circulation. And I am going to just show you that you can change. If it comes up with an email address, you can change it to a different one if you want to. Let's talk a little bit about the birth date. It will ask the month and the year of your birth. And really, it's not that we're being nosy. It is for the protection of kids. So basically, if somebody who is under 13 puts in their birth date here, there are laws in Illinois and there are federal laws that so they can't type in text. So it will walk them through how to put I think it's an animal and a color together in order to create their username. Because we are over 13, we can go ahead and type in whatever username we want. So that is why that it is asking for our birth date. I'm going to go ahead and click continue. I'm not saving this information. And this is the screen where it asks me to create a username. Once I start typing, let's do Swifties Unite, except I have to spell it correctly. Okay, that one is available. If you saw when I put in Swiftie, it told me no. If you have a very common name, I have a really good friend, her name is Mary Smith. I can tell you right now, there is somebody in this catalog that has Mary Smith as a name. So if you have a very common name, it's going to suggest names to you that you can go ahead and use. The one thing that I want you to remember is that the catalog that we are using now is worldwide. It is not just Mount Prospect. It's actually not just our consortium, which is 33 libraries. It's actually being used worldwide. So some of the content that you are seeing, not the items themselves, that's just our consortium, but some of the content like reviews on books, if people share their shelves, usernames, that is worldwide. So if you, like I said, pick something that's very common, it is going to suggest something that will give you a little bit more of a unique username. We're going to use Swifties Unite. You do have to accept the terms. If you want to look at them, you can. And then we're going to complete our account setup. So it tells me my account is all set up, my username is Swifties Unite, and I can either continue on to my account or go back to what I was doing. I'm going to go ahead and continue on to my account. When we continue on to our account, it does let us make some changes right up front. Things like turning on our borrowing history, importing lists that we currently have. It also lets us determine if we want our shelves to be public or private. We will go through each one of these things, but I did want to ask, does anyone currently create lists in our current catalog? Okay, if you don't do this here, or if you forget to do this here, it's okay. What we can do is if you get past this part, we can turn that back on for you, and then you can import your lists from the catalog we are currently using. The other thing about that is that if you have lists that are broken, if maybe you have 5 lists of different things, it will put them and bring them in all on one list. So then you could go ahead and you can create separate lists. If you would like to know, where did this list start? Where did this list end? We can get you that information as well. So please don't think you're on that alone. We will help you with all of that. But you can bring all of your lists from the current catalog into this new catalog. Question?
Do you mean a list of authors?
It's a list that you would have created. Could be authors, could be genre. Some people keep lists of books that they have read. Some people keep lists of books they want to read. So it's all kinds of lists. And we have that capability in here as well, so we'll look at that too. Any other questions as we are looking at this? We're gonna come back to these defaults, and we will look at them in a little bit more detail. But I just want to tell you that once you create your account, it allows you to do all of these things. What we are going to do is go back here, and we are going to take a look at all of the different sections in your account that you can see. So we will go back to Ms. Swifty's account. You can look at in your borrowing section, anything that you have checked out, pretty much standard, anything that you have on hold, and then you can look at your borrowing history. Has anyone actually turned on their borrowing history in our current catalog? Okay, that is something that you can do for yourselves, and I'll show you in here how to turn it on. What borrowing history is what it sounds like. It's going to keep track of everything that you've checked out, and it will be available for you to see. When you turn it on, it keeps track from that day forward. It does not go back in time of everything that you have checked out. This is not something we can see. This is only something that you can see for your own. So we'll look at that. The other section in your account is your collections. This is new to this catalog. We have different shelves. You can place books on a for later shelf, a completed shelf, and an in progress shelf. So I'm currently reading this, I want to read this, I've read this. So you can put them in these shelves. If anyone uses Goodreads, it's the same. So it keeps that. The nice thing about this, you're in our catalog deciding what you want to check out from the library. You can just throw them on shelves right from here instead of going to Goodreads and searching for them in there. The other thing is the lists. And the lists are ones that you create. I want to put a list together of mysteries. I want to put a list together of my favorite author. So you can create those lists on your own. The shelves and the lists, you can make public if you want. By default, they are private. So you are the only ones who see them. The other thing that we have in our account are settings and profile. So let's just kind of take a look here. And up here, now that I have created my account, we can see my username up here. I'm going to click on the library dashboard, and this is what your library dashboard looks like. So, Taylor here has 3 items checked out, and when I click here, I can see she has some bunny books checked out. We can see the due date. And we can see that right from here, she can add this to her in progress shelf. Maybe she's finished it. If we pull down on that arrow, we will see the other shelves. So she can put it on her for later or completed. And if she wants to, she can renew that item from here as well. And you all hopefully know or have been able to experience that we do give you 3 renewals automatically. So if you don't remember to come to the catalog and hit that button, that's okay. It's going to renew 3 times. Yes, except there are new books that you cannot do, or our Lucky Day collection you can't renew. The other one that you cannot renew is if somebody is on hold for it, which is probably the biggest problem with new books, is that there's always somebody on hold for it. So anything that has those kind of restrictions you can't renew, even from this button, it will not override that. The other, oops, sorry, hello. Where did my mouse go? There it is, okay. The other things that we can see is here's that borrowing history. If it's turned on, she has not turned on it, oh my goodness. She has not turned it on. This is another place where I can turn on that borrowing history. When I do, it goes from today forward and looks at, now, I'm going to tell you she's already had it turned on once, so it brings in books that she has checked out. The one nice thing about this catalog is that this information is actually not held anywhere in the catalog. When you click on that link that says borrowing history, the catalog goes out to our servers and brings back that information right then and there. And then when you leave that link, it's not held and saved in that catalog. So another kind of nice privacy thing is that it's just bringing in that information when you're asking for it. The other thing is if you turn it off, it then wipes out that history and you start fresh from that day forward. So just kind of keep those things in mind if you want to keep, like if you don't want it on anymore, you don't have to, but if you turn it back on, it will start fresh. Yes?
So there's multiple of the same title, does that mean she?
It could, yes, yeah, because it's just counting.
Back to the server.
Exactly. Any other questions? Okay, so that's borrowing history. The other thing that we're seeing are fees. We all know that we do not charge fines here at the library, so these would be fees for things like you purchased a bag, 3D printing, those kinds of things. We can put those fees on here and you can pay through one of our self-checks or up at circulation if you want to. The other thing that this catalog does is that it splits out the interlibrary loan requests. So we know that we are now part of a consortium. We have 30, I believe we're up to 33 or 34 libraries in the consortium. So a lot of things that we want to put on hold and bring in, we are getting from those libraries. Those are not interlibrary loans because we're all part of the same system. These would be any time we have to go outside the consortium to get materials that you would like, so true interlibrary loans. If you do that, then it's going to show up here instead of part of your regular holds. Anything within the consortium will be in your holds. Any questions on that? Okay, and it doesn't look like, oh no, she does. And then she does have her own hold here, and if I click, we can see that she has the book that I read yesteryear that I am so confused about. So that is on hold. I want to talk a little bit about some scary numbers in holds. Yeah, that's frightening, isn't it? It's not true, but it's frightening. I know. We've never shown this number before, and now you know why we've never shown this number before. And if we had our druthers, we would not show it again. Because quite honestly, as part of a consortium, that's not true. It is a false number because we know that we can bring those books in from any one of those 34 libraries that we have. So when you put yourself on hold, most of the time you are getting those books within a week to 2 weeks, unless of course it's yesteryear, which might take a little bit longer, but you are really not going to be 513 on that list. The other thing that I want to remind everybody of, if we own it and you put it on hold, you pop to the top of the list above everybody else in the consortium. So if it's something that we own, you are much higher on that list, which gives you a better chance of getting that material much faster. So hopefully you're having good experiences with your holds, and that number means nothing at all. this is really a false number, and that is one of the reasons we didn't put it on. It's hard for staff to realize and to remember this really isn't true. So, but you'll see it, it's there. Just think, if you want to really understand where you are on the hold list, you can always call circulation. They see this number too, but you can tell them the date that you put it on hold, and they can estimate for you. Again, it's something, it really depends on the item. If it's got a really long hold list, how long it takes, but it won't be 5 years like this indicates, I promise. So that's the whole thing about the holds. Because we are in our holds, you can pause your holds. It lets you go in, it kind of has you creep up your list, but it won't actually make that hold be due and ready for you. So if you're going on a 3-week trip somewhere, you can pause your hold so your holds don't come in when you're still on that trip. And then when you get back, you can either put a date that this will automatically unpause, or you can come back in and unpause your hold as well. The other thing is, if you decide, you know what, I just don't want to wait around, I'm going to go buy that book, you can always cancel that hold. So you have all of that same capability that you have now is in here as well. You still can put it on a shelf though. This you'll see pretty much anytime you see an item in the catalog, it will give you that link. Questions, or hopefully not too many concerns about holds? All right. Yes.
So the for later, what is that button for?
For later, it gives you that shelf. So if you want to put that on the for later shelf, so this is something I might want to read later on. You can put that on. That's just so you remember. Any other questions? Okay. So we've looked at everything in our I cannot speak this morning. We've looked at everything in our account except for this one little link all the way here. I'm telling you, my mouse disappears. There we are. So we have this one little link here, single click holds, and it is currently off. Single click holds allow you to, instead of walking through, I think it's a 2-step process when you create a hold, it allows you to click once and it automatically puts the item on hold. What this does is this makes sure, I'm going to click it, you get to pick a preferred pickup location. Of course, because we're here, it's going to default to our library. So if you only use our library, you can leave this as your preferred, and anytime you come in, your holds will be here on the back shelf in circulation. If you are closer to the branch, you can change that to the branch as well. Or if, say you volunteer somewhere or you're working somewhere else in one of the library areas for the consortium, you can choose that as your pickup location as well. So it is up to you how you want to handle that. And then you would just save this. If I save this, I now turn on one-click hold, and my holds will go through literally in one click. I'm going to cancel here because I want to show you there's another pickup location that you can set as well. Okay, so we've gone through all of the item-related things in our account. Let's talk about the shelves. So let's go here. We've talked about all this. We will talk about that in a minute. All right, so let's go through our shelves. Does anybody have any questions about those shelves? I will go ahead, when I'm doing a search, show you exactly what it looks like to put them on. But any questions about how those shelves are operating? Okay, let's look at the settings and the profile. And before we do that, let us talk about lists. So there is a difference between shelves and lists. Lists, like I said, is something that you create. And when you create them, you would click your button here. And it lets you do two kinds of lists here. It lets you do an if you liked list. So if you liked Project Hail Mary, and then you would put all your sci-fi likes on there. If you have some recommendations and you want to put items on here, maybe by genre, author, however you would like to put your list together, you can put them here. The only thing that you have to do for any of these lists is they all have to have at least 4 items on them before you publish them. So once you put 4 items on the list, it will allow you to publish it. Once it's published, it is up to you, like we talked about, whether or not you show that to everybody in the world, remember, not just in Mount Prospect. So you can either show it to everyone out in catalog land, or you can keep them private. I think there's a way as well to create a link and send that link only to people who you want to share the list with, but I'd have to double check that. But that is how you create those lists. And when you bring your lists in from the new catalog, this is where you'll see them as well in that My Lists link. Any questions? Okay. So the last 2 things here in our accounts are my profile. And this is what this looks like for my profile. You can do things like put a little description about yourself, what you like to read. If you have your own website, you can go ahead and put a link to your profile on your website. You can put your subject and areas of interest. One of the things about this catalog, and we'll see that when we go through items, is that you will see star ratings for some of the items that, again, are from people all over catalog land. You can rate them if you want to. It's part of being logged in, and you can have those ratings be public or private. Those, however, default to public. They're assuming if you're rating it, you were rating it for others. If you don't want to, you can go ahead and change that to private. You can also put comments in, and you will see comments on some of the items as well. So keep all that in mind, that is part of logging in. You get to take part in this social piece of the catalog as well. I think... And you can share feedback with the company. And the last thing is my settings. This is where you would go if you didn't do your lists right away, you didn't turn on your history right away, you didn't choose the default for your holds. All of this information is in here. You can change your username, your password, and your email address from here. You can set some preferences. You can create saved searches. I did want to show you the holds and pickup location. We already know that the first location for Taylor Swift is Mount Prospect, but you can add a second one as well. So again, if you travel between libraries and they are part of the consortium, you can set, we'll do Cary area. You can set a second location. Actually, you can set as many locations as you want. The other thing that this does is if you don't do that one-click hold, when you pull down to pick your location, those 2, because I have made those preferred, will pop to the top, and you don't have to scroll through all 34 libraries. But you can still always choose another library if you'd like. If that single-click hold sounds intriguing, you can turn it on here. You can change your display language if you'd like. And you can turn on that borrowing history here as well. So all of this is in your account. I'm going to go ahead and click My Shelves. I said that we would look at this. Again, these are by default private, so if you're doing those shelves just for you, you can keep them private, but you can make them public if you want by unchecking any of those, and then they would be shared. My feeds is all of that social content, so your ratings, your comments. They, remember, are not private by default. If you would like them to be private, this is where you would go and make those private, and then make sure anytime you see a save at the bottom of the screen to click it, because I don't, and then it's not saved and I have to go back again. So this is where you can make all of those changes to your account. I am telling you, there is something going on with my mouse. It's crazy. I think my mouse is losing battery because it is just, all right. So we've looked at all of these and we're gonna go back, maybe we're gonna go back. I think my mouse just died. Well, that's fun. There we go. Phew. Okay. We're going to go back while I'm lucky. And let's look here. We've talked about all of this. Now we're going to talk about how we search this catalog. You can do the traditional things. We can search by author, title, subject, keyword. We can use all the filters and facets that are there. The one thing that is going to be different is that all of our formats when we search for a title are going to be grouped in one record. So you will be able to decide if you want the DVD or the book or the audio book. You'll also see your digital content in here as well. So let's take a look at what that is. So when we look at our home page here, I'm going to get rid of these so we have some more space. When we go to the top, we have our search by. 9 times out of 10, we search by keyword, so we put in whatever we know, and we bring up the titles that we're looking at. The one cool thing about this catalog, oh, there's lots, but the one coolest thing about this catalog is if you've ever tried to search for a title that has either very common words or one word. So I'm looking for the book, The Help, and I put in help because we know that it's not gonna look at the, and I'm gonna get 18 million things, and if I don't know the author, I'm scrolling through. The same thing if you're a horror reader, Stephen King's It. Have you ever tried to bring that book up? It's not easy. So they have actually made it easier. They've done it a couple ways. I'm going to start with The Help, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what we normally do and leave the off. And I'm going to put in help, and I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to do its search. And of course, it comes up. Now it is coming up by relevance, and there's the Beatles, a lot of Beatles. There's some stories. And as I'm scrolling down, about 5 or 6 down, I finally do get to The Help by Catherine Stockett, because that is what I am looking for. But if I do the search a little differently, and instead of doing it the traditional way, and I actually include the, so I'm going to put in The Help, it doesn't ignore the. It has what's called stop words. And it plays along with the stop words and the relevance, and it kind of reads your mind. And it brings you to those titles that you're looking for. So you can see there's a difference between how this searches and what it brings up to you. The relevance is how it is sorting for us by default, but we can change that if we want, like an alphabetical order or a publication date as well. So here's The Help by Catherine Stockett. I want to show you the full record. This is those grouped formats. So I can see here's the book, the audio book, the e-audio, the large print. I have all of those listed for me, and if I keep going down, I have a deluxe edition. It's telling me if it's available right up front, and my preferred location, remember, is here. So it's telling me right up front that it's here available at my preferred location. This is also searching our materials and showing you our materials first. We can open it up to the rest of the consortium if we wanted to, but right now I've got it defaulted just to Mount Prospect. So if I want to come in and pick it up, I know it's available here, I can place an on-shelf hold. We call you that day and you can come get it for all of those things. If it had said that it wasn't available here, you still have your link. Our preferred library is at the top, and then we can see all the other libraries it's available at in the consortium, and then it drops to the bottom of the list, the ones where it is not available. So we can see lots of copies of the help are available. So if we put it on hold and it said you were number 782, you know you're really not. He's got lots of copies available in the consortium. So that's one of the ways that it is a little different. It's showing us all of those formats together. It is putting our preferred location up at the top. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
So would we have to do another preferred location, or it just goes through all?
It goes through all of them. It is not going to, it looks at everyone in the consortium when it is trying to tell you where those books are available. So yeah, if you wanted to pop over to Displays, you could do that as well if it was available there. The other things I wanted to point out, if you wanted to search all the libraries up front, you can do, and it's still doing it, but it's just the way it's showing it to us. So you can change from Mount Prospect to partner libraries. It really isn't going to make too many changes because once you are in those records, you're seeing what's available at every library, but you can do that. The other thing, we have these facets in our current catalog, but if I want to limit by just book, I can click on that, and now I'm looking at, remember, I'm looking at books that have the title The Help, or at least The Help in them. And then I am now looking at just books, no ebooks, no large print. I can also do the other formats as well if I just want the DVD of that movie. Once I get down below the facets, I have some links. And these links let me limit as well. So now, remember, my search was the help. I am sure there's a lot of help books out here in the library and in the consortium. So if I click nonfiction, I'm going to look at 3,000 roughly help books. So these let us limit. The other ones are check marks. They're facets. Here's different content, genre, topics, subject. So we can go ahead and limit our searches and get what we actually are looking to walk out of the library with. Any questions so far? And just because I made a big deal of it, I'm going to put in it. And look, it actually came up. The other book that I used to try to find all the time was And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. I teach the people who are coming in, and we always have to do that, and we always error out on our old system, but it's okay. So if you're looking for those books that have very, very common words in them, remember, it's going to use them as stop words and try to get the most relevant to the top for you. Let's go ahead and click place hold so we can see what that looks like. Now, I don't have one click hold on, so as I go here and click place hold, it's going to ask me if that is the pickup location I want. This is where my drop down is, and if I look at that drop down, I put Mount Prospect and Cary at the top. Why isn't it doing what I said? That's rude. Maybe I didn't hit save. I bet I didn't hit save. So here are all of the other libraries I can go ahead and choose from. If I do want to place the hold, or if I don't, I can do either one of these. I'll go ahead and place the hold.
They're going to come here, though.
Yes, they are going to definitely come here, for sure.
Question, the DVD availability doesn't show up in the book, the electronic version, the large print version.
It should, yes, it should. It could be, sometimes it is on a separate record, but it should definitely show you all the formats.
So if you went to the book it would show these DVDs.
This is the DVD, here's the book. Oh, it's not showing that format. It does have a separate one. I have seen it though where it shows the media as well, the actual DVD in there as well. But you are right, for this book, it does not have the DVD in there. I'm gonna have to ask about that.
So you'd have to narrow the search.
You could narrow your search here and do, I want the DVD, and then it should get rid of the books, and there's your DVDs. Why, oh, I'm like, why is the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown here? It's like, that's a very different book from it. So, any other questions?
What's the advantage of the quick hold?
The quick hold, let's turn it on. It just actually, it literally doesn't ask you what location. It just takes the location that you said. So Mount Prospect Library, if I do a single click hold, it just makes sure that your pickup, it doesn't ask you for your pickup location. Yeah, that's all. That's the only thing. All right, any other, yes, sir?
Question on, when you click on a book and you find out, a little excerpt on what it's about.
Yes, you can. You can here, so if we look, let's get out of it, and let's do, which one was that? Oh, Calamity Club. Let's do that. So here's the Calamity Club, and if I do click on the title, here's my excerpt. So here's my excerpt. I still have my formats listed here, so if I want to look at it, I want to see the availability for a different format, I can. It tells me how many copies here, and there's that whole excerpt, or this is a synopsis, and then it has details. This also is where you'll see that content from all of the people who are using this catalog. So, now see, I loved this book and this person disagrees with me. But you can see your star ratings, you can see the comments here. And for this book, there are 26 comments altogether. If you wanted to rate and comment that book, this is where it would go. And you would be identified then by that username that you've created. So that's where your username would come into play, and then you could put your rating here. You can also like and any of the comments or the ratings that you see. The flag is if you see something that is inappropriate, so you would flag it. The library doesn't have anything to do with this part of this. The actual corporation does that owns Bibliocorp is the name of the catalog. I believe if it gets flagged 3 times, they do a review of it and they decide if it should be hidden or that kind of thing. It's not something that we look at. So that is what that social content looks like. Any questions?
Can I assume there are staff recommendations?
Yes, there will be, and that is what we're working on in that beginning, because we will put together our recommendations and our lists, and you will be able to see them. So, say something is like Project Hail Mary is coming up. We're having our big One Book, One Village programs. So we would put up a list of recommended either sci-fi or those friendship kind of books, and we would put them on there as well. The other thing, I mentioned the awards when we were looking at this part here at the navigation, but if you go to awards, I just wanted to show you all of the different awards that there are. So here are all of the book awards from the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, Ireland. We have all these different awards. And then we have movie and TV awards as well. So if you wanted to look at the Academy Awards, you can. The Hugo Award, the Mystery Award. So here's 122 recommended titles that won the Hugo. And then there are facets that, again, that come along with all of these screens. So you have a lot to look at and explore when you are in this. I can look at the bestsellers too. When you're in this catalog. One of the things that our librarians are currently working on is those recommended lists. So they will put recommended lists together, and you will be able to see those as well. And they will, every once in a while, would put together a rating for something, or some comments as well too in that social aspect of the catalog. Any other questions?
Is this better in filtering out topic areas social?
It is. It is. I will say this is much better. When I use the current catalog, when we were training on the current catalog, they were like, "This is keyword." I'm like, "This really isn't keyword. I don't know what it's doing." But this is truly keyword when you are searching that keyword, and those stop words really do help. So again, when you are dealing with those titles that have very common words in them, I will tell you that the relevance really works well in here. I would definitely do some comparisons. You have access right now to both. So, if it's something that you like to do, go ahead and see where you're getting the better list of things that are coming up. Weighted, that's a good question. I don't think, I'm sure it is weighted. I don't exactly know. I would have to look up exactly how the words are weighted within the keyword search. There is too, you do have several searches, so I've only showed keyword, but we have, the typical ones. You can do your title, your author, so it's only looking in those parts of that record. A subject search, a series, a tag, a list, or a user, not as easy. You can do a broadened keyword, make it much bigger, hopefully give you a better list if you're not seeing what you're looking for. And then, if you come all the way over to this side here, it does have an advanced search. So you can structure your query by using specific terms that you're looking for. So definitely take a look at and play around. It does use true Boolean searching when you are going to do any keyword search. If I do subject, I'm going to do a subject search for Civil War. It's going by relevance, and if we look, it's bringing me up fiction titles, which probably, if I'm doing a search on Civil War, for the most part, I'm not looking for fiction. Maybe I am. But it is doing a relevant search and really looking at some of those titles. But this is where those facets come in to play. I can either look for a different format, or remember I dropped down here, and now I want nonfiction titles. So I look in that content. Maybe I don't want any of those. I want these. This is what I want. So now I really do want just the United States Civil War. So here is where I'm limiting down to the books. And here's Grant, Ron Chernow's Grant, when I'm trying to do that. So definitely use a combination of those tools that are available. If you want some help using those tools, you can pop up to either the fiction desk upstairs or the research desk, and they will walk you through those different searches for sure and help you get those items that you're looking for. And if you can't find it at all, definitely give us a call. We will make sure we can find it for you. Any questions? Yeah, not right now. They have not, that I know of, integrated AI, but I am sure that's coming. Like Google. Like you can do that for Google, for sure, but I have not seen AI content in here yet. Any questions?
So you said it's not ready to launch now.
That's such a good question. We're hoping a couple weeks. That is what we're hoping. There's some back and forth between us and the consortium and the vendor, so they're just trying to make sure everything is perfect before they launch it. And we don't want to launch it and then have problems. So that is what we're working with. I'm hoping a few weeks. Question?
Some people have gone in and they can,
Yeah, you can.
yeah, so if I was to do that now with my sign.
Yes, yep. So if you go in, like I said, if you go in and create your username today, it will continue. You will not lose it and have to redo it when we launch. So please don't worry about any of that. All of what you set up will still be there. And if it's not, you can call me. No, I'm kidding. No, it will be there. So there is a link. When you go to our current catalog at the very top, there's a link that says try out our new catalog. You can go there. And you can go back and forth between the two. There's a link on this catalog that lets you go back to the old catalog. I will tell you, with things that are very new, I would, and you're not finding them here, I would definitely look at our current catalog, because sometimes indexing doesn't, match right away. So if you're not seeing it here, come back to the catalog. I would do that with anything that says it's not available and you are pretty sure it should be. Just check our catalog or give us a call, our current catalog, or give us a call and we will double check for you. Until we launch, I'm not, like some of those things, I want to make sure that you're not walking away saying, oh, they don't have that or it's not there. Call us first or look in our current catalog first. And then if you're not seeing it, give us a call.
Will the current catalog be sunsetted?
Eventually, we won't, I won't, like I said, they will have it available, and I'm not sure if they'll have it available to patrons once we switch, but we will have it available. So if you don't get your lists to come over right away, we can get them for you. And I don't know for how long we'll have access. I'm hoping for a while, though. Usually they don't sunset in libraries. We don't sunset stuff too quickly, so I would say a few months at least.
So you create a new username,
Yes.
and then but you use the old catalog, is that?
No, you'll still use, the only thing that would change is if you change your password. So if you change your password, it is changed everywhere that you usually use your barcode and password. And when I say everywhere, Libby, Hoopla, our web resources. So if you change your password, you are changing it everywhere. For this, the username is strictly for this new catalog. So when you go into the old catalog, you'll still use your barcode and PIN. And for this one, remember, you can still use your barcode and PIN to get in here as well. Okay? It's just gonna, for all of that extra content, it wants you to have that username. All right, we are at 12 o'clock. I want to thank you all for coming. Hopefully I've answered your questions. Believe me, if you have any other questions, pop upstairs and any of the librarians can help you. Okay, thank you. Thank you.